First off, I just want to say that I appreciate all 9,000 of you who spent 5 hours with us last night in regards to all four fights. It was a great time. I was glad to experience the fights with you guys and glad to um, basically entertain you for those 5 hours. I do though. I feel like I have to take some responsibility, and a lot of people I think really didn't understand why I was kind of aggravated. I wanted to provide y'all the best entertainment that I possibly could, based on what we expected or what we thought that we would get. And so I think I was kind of thrown off by that last night, and I wasn't able to give y'all that best experience, considering what was presented to us as far as the product itself, based on what was marketed. So I do want to apologize for that. Um, and I do hope that you guys enjoyed yourself last night, because I really I went to sleep not feeling good. I went to sleep not feeling well about it, and it wasn't about whether Mike Tyson won or lost, because we understood the risk, we understood everything that went into this kind of a situation with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson versus a 27-year-old Jake Paul. And so we understood that Mike had, a time limit in regards to what he could do. And if he couldn't do it, we kind of understood that, it would go the distance. And so, like I said, I think for me, it's more so, I have to apologize on behalf of that last fight, because I don't think we got what we expected, and I wasn't able to fully provide the entertainment value based on it. But for the fights before that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. That was the first time we streamed a fight, or streamed a fight night before, and I think it was fitting. I really enjoyed Goyat and Nunez, even though it was kind of a clown show. I definitely enjoyed Barrios and Ramos. That was a very good fight. Both knocked down each other, and it fully went the distance. Very surprised, that Ramos didn't get it, but I get that Barrios, put in a little bit more work, and so they gave him the W, which I respected. I thought it was going to be a draw, and I think the best fight that we got last night was the Serrano versus Taylor. I think Serrano versus Taylor was nothing but heart, grit, just a dirty down to the fight to the end. And if you want to look at it from a point of you didn't get your money's worth for Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I think you got your money's worth with Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. So I was looking at some stuff online or social media in regards to those two. It looks like they may have a third fight potentially. It's out there. So that's something that we could definitely look forward to, in the near future. So yeah, apologies on behalf of Mike Tyson, y'all. Apologies on behalf. Gate Smasher, what a night! What a night! That's right, it was a draw. My fault. It was a draw. It was a draw. That's right. We weren't mad about it because it was a draw. There we go. Clayton says it's not your fault, dog. Listen, I know it's not my fault. I think, like I said, it's more so I wanted to apologize because I couldn't give you guys the best entertainment value after 4 hours, right? 4 hours, and now here comes the main event. And it was like going up that roller coaster for the first four, right? We're all excited. The wheels are just turning along. We're shaking, and then we get to the top, and it just goes straight downhill like a rocket. And it was, like I said, it wasn't the fact that Mike Tyson didn't win. It was we didn't get the show that was promised, right? And I get it, because if you look at Mike Tyson and the opportunity that was presented to him, I'm not mad at him at all. I think it was, at least to me, the situation of, okay, we're going to promote the hell out of this thing. Mike, you do your best to sell it, and Jake Paul's going to do what he does, and we're going to make some money. The problem that I do have, though, is the fact that it was marketed as a professionally sanctioned fight in Texas. And so, it gives the loss to Tyson. It's a name that goes on his record, which probably shouldn't be there. And it's also a win on Jake Paul's record that shouldn't be there. I think if you're going to do that, call this an exhibition fight, and then of course we look at it for what it is, and then we go from there. But for it to be a professional ranked match, or not ranked, professional match that's counted on the records, that led to an expectation that this was going to be taken a lot more serious than what it was. And so, for some of you, you watched Mike Tyson growing up and you watched his whole career. And then some of us, we were younger. We seen Mike Tyson as, for who he was. He was one of the most feared fighters in the world. And, last night was bad. It just looked so bad. It reminded me, for some of you may know where I'm going with this. It reminded me of when Christopher Reeves ended up in a wheelchair. When Superman ended up in a wheelchair, it just changed how you felt when it came to Christopher Reeves, because Christopher Reeves was Superman. Some of y'all remember. And this felt like that same situation last night. It was like watching the individual that you just knew was capable of doing so much damage look helpless and look weak out there and just unable to move his legs and do anything. And it looked bad. It looked bad, ladies and gentlemen. But let me hop in these comments. Shout out to the Rich Gang. Robert says, in similar fights, which were really real, Larry Holmes versus Ali and Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, they were real, not that main event last night. Dezendo says it had to be fixed. He had more energy during the slap. Yeah. Selena says, not a show at all, man, with them two. Ryan in his last fight was more hype. Listen, it's very, like I said, it's very difficult to not really understand it, but I think, like I said, try to fight off the expectations that we all had, without a doubt. Please says, he don't care for 20 mil. This is a retirement plan. I mean, I guess I get it. I definitely get it. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Ryan Garcia got in trouble for that, and that was a whole nother story. Tactical says, Jay, I was let down so much. You see my face, man. We old school. So there was a big expectation for Mike Tyson last night. I think it was like 100 million people watched this fight. Over 100 million people. And they all showed up for Mike Tyson. So what does that tell you? I wasn't the only one disappointed. Let me hop into the super chat real quick. Shout out to Joseph. Says Jake Paul is delusional. He thinks he's the greatest boxer after beating 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And like I said, shout out to you. I appreciate you, Joseph. Like I said before, I think it's something that shouldn't have happened. It's something that shouldn't have happened. And the biggest problem that I have is it now goes on the records, right? This is something that is history. And a lot of people don't care about history. Fine, you don't care about history, cool. There's a lot of people that actually do. Because now when you go look at Mike Tyson's record, or you go back and you look at his fights, and you go back and look at his legacy, at the end of all that, you get this fight with Jake Paul, which was an absolute joke and a travesty to his name. Now, on the flip side, I'm not going to give any hate to Jake Paul. Not in regards to the business side of things, because he did what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to go out there and figure out how to make money and make a bag. And he did that. He made a hell of a deal with Netflix. They marketed it. They paid him well. He made 40. Mike made 20. Everybody wins in regards to their camps at the end of the day. But when it comes to the actual business of fighting, we don't respect that shit. We don't respect that at all. You have not fought anyone that is a truly ranked contender, that is within your age bracket, that is doing this professionally right now. So for you to go out and be all hyped and amped up and I did this and I did that and I'm gonna be the greatest and I'm the face of boxing. Nobody believes that bullshit unless you're following him on YouTube and you're probably under the age of 25. You don't believe that shit. It's not there. It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense because we understand what real boxers do. We understand that real boxers climb the rankings. They earn their spot. They earn their legacy. And it doesn't matter about the money. We don't care about the money. So what? You made 40, you made 20. We wanted to see a real fight. And what they're so oblivious to, specifically Jake Paul, is he doesn't understand that, hey, your gimmicks are only going to go so far before you actually need to really fight before you can make that kind of money again. Because I guarantee you this, Mike Tyson can't step in the ring again and command that kind of money. This was a one-time thing. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson basically won the lottery last night because it will never happen again. So unless Jake Paul's able to get a real name like a Canelo or maybe actually get Conor McGregor in the ring or something like that, we're not watching. I know I'm not. I'm not even going to entertain it. Until he gets in the ring with someone that truly makes sense, I'm not entertaining it anymore. I'm not doing it. Shout out to you, Joseph. I appreciate you, bro. Alonzo says they took y'all's money. They took Netflix's money. I already had a subscription. Says most of us make enough money to afford a Netflix subscription regardless. Look, I already had Netflix, so I ain't lose nothing. I already paid. I've been with Netflix. I'm unfortunately probably going to be with them for a long time until something else comes along and takes over. But don't get me wrong, which we need to talk about Netflix too. Netflix was on some BS last night too. You've had multiple comedy specials that you stream live. You do the Love is Blind show that you stream live. You've done multiple different live events, so you should have been more than prepared when it came to a fight of this magnitude. Millions of people was online complaining about buffering, complaining about loading. Some people completely missed the whole damn fight. Do you know how mad I would have been if I wouldn't have been able to see at least what we've seen? Netflix, you got to do better. And they're actually going to be streaming a Christmas Day game for the NFL. It's not going to work. They better figure it out because it's not going to work. And for me, Christmas Day, if we do decide to stream that day, I'm going to be figuring out an alternative for that game. So I'm not streaming it through Netflix. I promise you that. Promise you. Bruce Harper says, why do you feel it shouldn't happen if 100 million people want to see it and Mike is the best boxer of all time? So 100 million people wanted to see Mike Tyson knock somebody out. Point blank. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way that you can tell me that 100 million people wanted to see Jake Paul fight somebody. Unless it was Mike Tyson. There was no other name besides those other two that I mentioned that would have commanded those kind of numbers, let alone that amount of money out of Netflix. Mike Tyson sold this fight. Over 100 million people wanted to see Mike Tyson knock somebody out. That's the reality of it. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. Hard 804 says Mike was nervous as hell before he entered the ring. You could see it in his eyes. And that was a real nervous, right? That was a real nervous. I think it was the 58 that set in. He knew he wasn't who he was anymore. He knew that he needed to make it to 8 rounds and try his best, and which we do commend him for. We do commend him for that. He's 58. He went in there. He moved his legs. His legs and eventually ended up giving out around the 3rd round. And that's when he kind of, turned into a shell. He turned into that mummy, and it sucked because I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it and I'm streaming it live with you guys. At this point, I think we've got like 5,000 people in the chat, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to call this fight and I'm trying to commentate about it, but my energy is just getting killed at the same time. So for those who are watching it, you guys are watching it. You knew what was going on. But for those that weren't watching it, and that's why I said I apologize for it. You could kind of see in the 3rd round is when my own energy just started decaying from watching Mike just stand there like this. He was just standing there. And then he started biting his glove, and it was kind of like, all right, why is he biting his glove? And then he said, I just like biting things as a joke, but we know that he was biting that glove because he was trying to contain himself. He was trying to contain himself and basically hold back from actually fighting. And and then there's a flip side to it too, right? Jake Paul had multiple opportunities to where he could have tried to hurt Mike Tyson. He could have tried to really do some damage, and he didn't do that. So I do think you do have to give him some respect there. I do think that we'll give Jake Paul some grace because he could have did some damage. He could have went out there and acted a fool and tried to hurt Mike Tyson for his name and for some clout. He definitely could have tried to do that. But I think at the end of the day, he did pay Mike Tyson respect, and like I said, I do give him some grace for that. Let me hop back in the chat. Crack Tower says, "Love Mike anyway," without a doubt, without a doubt. 20 mil, that man good. I agree. Talada says, "I'm not sure what the big deal is. Sure, he lost, but he lasted 8 rounds at his age. He gave his all, and it was not as much as we hoped. So just get to see him again was good enough for me." Yes and no, right? And I say yes and no because I think at the end of the day, the opportunity for Mike was there to actually, put on a show. And the problem, and I say this is a problem because if Mike Tyson didn't train the way that he did, we wouldn't have had expectations of what we thought we were going to get for the fight. If you go back and look at the training, he's aggressive. He has speed. He's looking fierce. He's almost looking like his old self. He doesn't look like himself. He almost looks like his old self. We didn't see that at all. Not round 1 through 8. So that's, I think, where the disappointment was. But we get it because he's trying to sell the fight. And we give him the grace in regards to that because he's 58 years old and we know that there's money involved, right? This is his retirement. Cool. So when it's all said and done, are we mad that Mike lost? No, we're not mad because we get it. But we didn't get the show that they sold. And I think that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Shout out to Crispy. What up? What's going on with you? Raymond says this was not a fight. It was a sparring match. And it's very hard to even say that, for sure. Tactical says those who follow the fight game know that Jake would have never even got a shot at a title with 30-year-old Mike Tyson. Never. Tactical says you're right. That's the only Jake Paul fight I've never, ever watched. Canelo said he won't fight him ever. The simple fact that Jake is not a real boxer, Canelo staying true to the game. And listen, Canelo will make quick work of Jake. That is a fact. Canelo would make quick work of Jake Paul. We were talking about 1 round, knockout for Mike Tyson potentially. I really think, without a doubt, Canelo would have him out of there in the first round. It would be too much for Jake Paul to handle. Michael says, stream to me for free. I see you, bro. Heart 804, yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. Shout out to Joseph coming through with another super chat donation. Says Tommy Fury destroyed Jake Paul. Listen, and Tommy Fury's not even a ridiculous level fighter. He's a basic fighter, but he's an actual boxer. So when you take even just the standard boxer template of Tommy Fury and you put that in front of Jake Paul, he couldn't handle it. So I think next, I like I said, for me to pay attention to Jake Paul, it's got to be a situation of someone close to a Canelo or a Conor McGregor, someone like that. I did see something saying that Jake Paul was going to go over to do MMA now. I guess he knows that his time with boxing is running out because the gimmick is almost over. So he's like, all right, let me go into MMA now and try and get this bread. And MMA is going to be a lot different because I don't think you're ready for them hits. But we'll see. Netflix never have all their customers all watch it at the same time. Crazy. Jake Paul's next plan is to get a wide receiver spot on the Not the wide receiver spot on the Bills, yo. It's crazy. Jay, your color commentary in other fights was magnificent. Listen, like I said, I tried my best, and like it was my first one. It was the first time we've ever streamed uh, a fight night, and it was absolutely phenomenal. You guys held it down. I truly enjoyed myself, and we made history. It was the biggest night that we've ever had streaming. We did 400,000 views last night. Absolutely amazing. The biggest night we've had in our 5 year history of doing this. And like I said, it was great. And unfortunately, the main event just was not there. I think we would have did crazy numbers if the fight would have just been what we thought it was going to be, or even remotely close to it. But I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. We had a great night. And like I said, I appreciate all you guys. Basically, I saw a scripted sparring match. I agree. I agree. We saw if he could hurt Mike. It didn't happen. It didn't happen because I think he didn't do it out of respect, right? And I'm gonna actually show some I'm gonna show some love to Jake here because he very well could have been an idiot and tried to hurt a 58-year-old Mike Tyson for clout, right? He chose to be respectful, make it what it was, a decent sparring match with a 58-year-old and not do anything crazy. So I think in the end, he does get some credit there for how he handled himself at the end of the fight with a tired Mike Tyson who wasn't going to do anything. Um, but that's also as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes when it comes to that respect. Mike was paid to not throw punches. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. Tactical says, Jay, I agree. The training footage was so much of a stark difference from the fight. It was vastly different. Anybody who watched all the training up into this fight, even if you go back and you look at the Roy Jones Jr. fight, it's a whole different aura, a whole different fight in Tyson. And that Roy Jones Jr. fight wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't. So, someone to be, well, Jay, those clips where he was training was only 5-6 seconds. I mean, all right, well, fine. Fine. Give me those 5-6 seconds in last night's fight, and I probably would have been happy. Because if Mike Tyson would have came out with that same kind of energy that he did in the training, and he got gassed and he got knocked out in, the fourth round or even knocked down, I respect that. I'm like, all right, you gave us a little taste of what it was from 30 years ago. I would have respected that, but we didn't get it. We didn't get it. Shadi says, failed match, but I give Mike grace for stepping in the ring off, without a doubt. Scott, what up, man? Shout out to you, bro. Says, what's good, Jay? And no, we didn't get the show, not to mention the feed. Shout out to you. Much love, bro. We didn't get it, but like I said, we had a great time last night. We made history in the channel, and I think that means a lot. We got to spend 5 hours together. It's been a while since I did a 5 hour stream. My voice was leaving in the fourth hour, and I was pushing through it, and like I said, we put in 5 hours last night. I don't think it could have got any better because Barrios and Ramos was good. We got Serrano versus Taylor, who I do think that they need to do a number 3. I'm going to keep my eye on those two for sure. And I think Ramos and Barrios is going to be a good one to keep on the ticket as well, because those guys definitely had some heart in their own fight as well. Cedric, what up, man? Shout out to you, bro. Jake is fighting Nelson Mandela. Yo, they said Jake is gonna dig up Ali. It was bad. There were so many different jokes and so many different memes, and it was kind of ridiculous. It really was. It was kind of ridiculous in regards to everything that was said when it comes to who Jake was gonna pick next, and it's sad because it's made boxing a joke. It really has. It's made boxing a joke. Because there's fighters out there right now who's put in the work, who's put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and they'll never have a shot of making $20 million in one fight. And I'm talking ranked fighters, guys who are, 10, 15, 20 ranked fights in, doing well, and they'll never have a shot at $20 million. They may not even make it that far in their career to have a shot at that kind of money. And then you get Jake Paul, someone who's had 11 BS fights, come into a deal of a lifetime for someone in his shoes, and then he gets the grace of Mike Tyson to say, yes, I'll step in the ring with you, and you can use my name so we can make all this money. It's an absolute amazing opportunity for sure. Shadi says the commentators were getting on my nerves, talking about how Jake changed the game of boxing. He didn't do squat. He's not a real boxer. Great marketer though. And see, that's the problem with me, or a problem for me, right? He's a businessman. If you want to give him some credit for that, sure. I give him credit for that. Great showman, great businessman. But to say that you changed the game of boxing, sure, you changed the game of boxing in a terrible way. You didn't change the game of boxing in a good way, because the real boxers, the real contenders right now, they don't respect you. So if the people in the actual game that actually do this for a living in a professional standard that are ranked don't respect you, why the hell should the fans in the boxing community respect you? But, Eric the Viking, 400,000 views, man. It was amazing. It was amazing. Shout out to you, Tim. Let's go. Selena says it was fun, man. I've never kept up with any stream like this on YouTube. Mad love. Yeah, without a doubt. It was great. Like I said, for it being our first boxing stream, and for me to hold it down for 5 hours like that, it felt real good. It felt real good. Boxing is a lot faster. That's what I did notice, because we normally do the football, and football's a little slower. You got the play clock, and you've got all these little things that kind of slow things down, so it's easier to call. Boxing, it's like blah blah blah. This hat, right hook, uppercut, goes to the body. Like it's a little faster. So I had to adjust to that as the stream was going on. And when we got, I think, to the middle of the Barrios and Ramos fight is when I really started, I dialed in. I was like, okay, I got it. Because the Nunes Goya fight, it threw me off a little bit because a lot was going on, and I had to adjust my speed because I'm so used to just calling the football games. And but like I said, it was good. It was good. And I think me having the history of boxing probably helped me out a lot too last night. Shout out to you, WC. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, without a doubt, we're going to start doing a lot more boxing for sure. I don't think either fighter put in a ton of effort. I think Paul orchestrated a bag for them both. Without a doubt. I think we all can agree on that. We all can agree on that. Comedian Mo Brown says the 8th round, they stared at each other. Yeah. They stared at each other. Here, come give me a hug. Come give me a hug, and let's go get a steak after this. We made it. We made it. We did it. Bobby Cox, what up, man? Shout out to you, bro. Tyson wouldn't get paid if he knocked out Jake. I heard something like that. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Why would he not get paid if he signed the contract to get in that ring? It doesn't make sense. Bills Chiefs tomorrow. Yes, we're going heavy on Bills Chiefs tomorrow. I will be on, ready to go, rocking and rolling tomorrow for sure. Bills Chiefs on deck. Make sure you're here for it. Lewis Kelly says Bills finna beat on the Chiefs. I'm excited. They said that Cooper's supposed to come back, hopefully, so that could solve the Dalton Kincaid issue, and then obviously Dawson Knox is gonna come in. So I do think that's gonna. Or he's already in, but I think he's going to step up a little bit more. I think the Bills should do fine. I think the real question is, what is his defense going to do, and whether or not they're actually going to be able to pressure Mahomes. But we'll get into that tomorrow. Like I said, I'm excited for that one. Negan says, funny that Tyson versus Jones, both dudes still had it. The rig was in. I mean, that's another one, right? Even when Evander came back, and they did the whole "I'm back" thing, and they're fighting and stuff, and they're kind of just drumming up some interest and stuff, and people enjoyed that. People respected it, right? When you had two legends coming in the ring, and that was a good thing. So it's like, Yeah, you may not have as many people wanting to see two old fighters go in the ring, but that's respected. That's different. You have two individuals who put in the time and the work, and they go in there and they do it the right way. And I think that's the difference. That's the difference. Shout out to Bobby Cox coming through with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Says when Tyson fought Buster Douglas Tyson in 1990, I was 16 and he was 23. Wow, I thought was older. Man, listen. Tyson was very young and gifted when he started boxing. Um, the youngest heavyweight champion in the world. Um, when you look at his history, where he came from, the issues that he had, I was actually just talking to the lady about this. And I'm gonna tell y'all a joke in a minute. Some of you may have caught it last night. Some of you probably didn't. But we were just talking about Mike Tyson and the things that he did. And if you weren't around during the time that Mike got his name and really started to explode and into the fighting scene, then you don't understand the work that he put in. You don't understand what he meant to the people that were watching him. And yes, he went through his issues and his struggles and the dark times and all that kind of stuff. Paid his debt to society, tried to come back, and he still had that energy. He still had that fight in him. It was a certain level of respect that people have and still have for Mike Tyson. That's why this fight meant a lot for a certain group of people. That's why 100 million people wanted to see this fight. And I think that resonates a lot in regards to who he is, and I think the growth that he's been able to achieve at this point. Hey, I think listen, hey, you got your 20 million, go set up a podcast. I'll watch it. You're on all these other podcasts. Mike Tyson, set up your own set up your own podcast. People are gonna watch it. I'll definitely watch it. And go set up your own production. Set up your own promotion. Tyson Promotion should have been in effect years ago. He should be making millions of dollars for promoting fights. Why the hell isn't Tyson doing that? If there's anyone who could promote boxing and should have a name for it, it should be Tyson Promotions. Somebody get me on the phone with his agent. We need to talk. Maybe I need to talk to Tyson. Get him on a different track. You got 20 million. You want to retire. Make sure you put it in the right way so you can keep that going. Dale says he should have knocked out Mike in 2 rounds. I mean, if he was that dude. If he was that dude. But to beat up on a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, nobody respected that. Aiden says, yo, just how what we talking about? We're talking about what we expected and what we got. Shout out to you, Shante. Says, who's going to take the place of Coleman being out for the Bills? I really think you're probably going to just see a lot more from Davis and Cook. They're probably going to try to rotate Davis, out to that flat. Shakir obviously going to do his thing. Samuel, he's going to have to. It's going to be very difficult to see what Brady puts together with Sean tomorrow. But we'll know. I'll let you guys know for sure. Tactical says, Jay, I hope that you and the Bills against the referees tomorrow will go well for you, brother. I'm not trying to think about it. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm not trying to think about it in a moment. I did want to get to. So my woman comes to while I was streaming the fight with you guys, and my woman's talking, and she I said something about George Foreman, and she says the guy with the grills. She says the guy for the grill. She's like, oh, I didn't know he boxed. And I looked at her for a second while I was streaming because I couldn't believe she said that. I'm like, wait, for the grills? And I had to give her a history lesson this morning, y'all. I had to give her a history lesson this morning about George Foreman, and that was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. So she only knew George Foreman for the grills, y'all. So I had to school her this morning. That was hilarious. Cloud Seeds. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. What up, Mimi? Shout out to you. Tyson is basically a grown baby. Everything was always done for him. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike doesn't even get paid. Not even when. Well, he's getting paid. He's got his money. He signed that contract. He signed that contract for sure. Tyson has the IQ level of a 5-year-old. Wow. Would you say it to his face? That's the question. Lisa says Jake Paul had a better night than Mike Tyson last night. Yeah. He made more money. He got a win on his record. He now gets to use Mike Tyson's name as an accolade in his career. And that's what makes it bad. That's what makes it terrible, because he gets to use all these things now to further his career. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. But also, we can't look at Mike Tyson in any kind of way, because he made his 20 million. He can still hold his head high. He went to the 8th round, and he lost in a decision. He got some hits off. He took some hits. But at the end of the day, he's still Mike Tyson. And there it is. No one has a win on their record, dummy. Okay. I'm really confused. Like, some of you really don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, and it's very sickening that I have to keep going through this. This is the 4th person today that said this stupid shit to me. If you go and look right now on Jake Paul's Wikipedia page or Mike Tyson's Wikipedia page, and you go look at their official records, one has a win and one has a loss. That's on their record. I don't know why we're still having this conversation as if it doesn't exist. But since I have to show it to you, I will. What the hell does that say? Fight number 12, result win, Mike Tyson, unanimous decision. Record 11-1. That's an official record. Like, I don't understand y'all. This is the 4th person that I've had to have this conversation with today, because supposedly it's not on the records when it's clearly showing it. It was said months ago that this would be a sanctioned fight, which goes on their professional record. What do you don't get from that? It's not a real fight. It's essentially WWE. It's entertainment. Welcome to the business. No one cares what your screen says. No official win took place. This is the dumbest shit I've heard all day. So it goes on your professional record, but it doesn't count because you consider it to be fake? So you mean to tell me all the football games that's happened over the last 11, 12 weeks now don't count because they're supposed to be rigged, right? The records don't matter? Doesn't matter. This is crazy, y'all. Y'all see what I got to deal with, yo? This is wild. Absolutely wild. Chiefs would be 4-5 then, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. I wasted my time to watch that fight. Listen, there's a lot of aggravated people this morning for sure. For sure. Wasn't it 2-minute rounds? How could that be a professional fight? What made it a professional fight is that it was sanctioned by the state of Texas as a professional fight. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's in black and white. We were sitting there like, no, it wasn't a professional fight. It doesn't matter because I'm saying so. It's in black and white. There's a reason why certain states couldn't bet on this fight because of the rules. Because it was a professionally sanctioned fight that goes on their records. But I bet you didn't know that. My goodness. This is crazy. Crazy. Jake know he could coast for 15 minutes. You have the patience of a saint. Mimi, you know. You know. Punk Gaming says it goes in their records. People read the rules. Obviously don't want to read the rules, yo. They don't want to read the rules. It's in the definition of exhibition fight, not real. Look it up. Yo, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Let me go ahead and Let me go ahead and go back here because this is absolutely wild. We sometimes we gotta. This is what fact checking is all about. This is what fact checking is all about, and this is why this is how people get like miscommunication and like fake news and all that kind of stuff because they don't understand what things are and what rules mean and how things are sanctioned. So let me read this for you one more time. Here we go. It's on Wikipedia in black and white. On March 7th, 2024, Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions announced that they were partnering to host an event headlined by Paul facing former undisputed heavyweight world champion Mike Tyson on July 20th at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. We know what happened with Mike Tyson, how he got sick, so they had to postpone the fight. So then, Paul confirmed that they will be submitting a request to the Texas Combative Sports Program for this bout to be sanctioned as professional. On April 29th, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations confirmed it approved the fighter's request that this would be a sanctioned professional fight. That says nothing about exhibitions. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I'm moving on. Moving on. Next. Uh shout out to you, comedian. Says, don't you think Mike Tyson should retire? He's almost 60. I think he's done. D says, who won? Jake Paul. Punk Gaming, thank you, bro. Thanks a lot, bro. We need the peer review. It's like, it's crazy. Like, I don't get it. It's in black and white. It's right there for you to see it. As a matter of fact, if you even knew anything about the fight, which I knew about this fight as soon as it was announced, you would have known that it was a professional fight because they said that's what they wanted. They wanted to go on their records. But there you go. Almost 30 years ago, Mike Tyson bit off Vander Holyfield's ear. That was a crazy fight. I seen it live. Kyle says, let's be honest here. The real winner was Ced the Entertainer. Listen, there was a lot of money in the house. For sure. Netflix paid some good money, and they made some good money as well. For sure. Without a doubt. Appreciate you, Punk Gaming. Thanks a lot. Welcome to the channel, bro. Thank you for subscribing. DJ Gene, what did we watch? And so this goes back to why I was so aggravated last night, right? Because if it was an exhibition match, I wouldn't have cared. It would have just been a fun thing. Ha ha, yeah, Mike's getting in the ring with Jake Paul, blah, blah, blah. It would have been what it was. But because they said that this was a professionally sanctioned match, this meant it actually mattered. This meant that this fight's going to go on their record, so it should be considered to be a lot more serious than what an exhibition match would. So there you go. Taylor Daddy says it was very disappointing. It was like beating up a guy in a wheelchair. The real winner was Jerry Jones. I guess. I guess. One new me says, hey, Tyson got paid. The thing is, Tyson got paid a lot. That's on him, not everyone else. He lost his things with all the Tigers and all the things he did. He is owed nothing. I agree. I think one of the best things to look at, though, is the fact that Tyson earned his way, right? Nothing was handed to him. He came from nothing, turned into something. He didn't have the best childhood. He didn't, make the best decisions, but he was self-made. And so I think that's something that not only goes into his character, but his ambition to even keep going at 58 years old. And I think that's why he gets, a lot of respect and recognition even now to this day. Without a doubt. Prison took his powers. I agree. Punk Gaming says, keep your grandparents with you at all times. Jake will want to beat them up. It's crazy. Crazy. Jake will get plenty of endorsements after his victory. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Because it's all about the money, right? Once a company sees that this individual can command this amount of money, they just open the floodgates. And once again, from a business standpoint, hell of a job by Jake Paul, without a doubt. But as a boxer, he just doesn't get that respect. As a boxer, he just doesn't get that respect. Agree, but we also forget what he did, which was bad. I mean, the man went to prison. No good guys here. Yes, we brought that up earlier. We understand that Tyson has some dark days, and then he paid his debt to society. I don't think you can hold it against him at that point, right? We understand what he did. We don't we don't sit here and act like it never happened. We acknowledge it, but at the same time, we don't look to ridicule him now because of it, because he paid his debt to society. Shout out to Brian Allen. Said save the grandpas. Save the grandpas. Hashtag save the grandpas. The girl has came and said, so I don't know what happened. It's a simple Google search. Yeah, there's tons of controversy and stuff about that. But like I said, he served his time, paid his debt to society. The rest is history, and that's just the reality of it. There's everybody has, things that they're not proud of in their life. Nobody's perfect. Some people have done worse things than others, for sure. And all we can hope as a society, people can, learn from their mistakes, become better people so they can contribute and move forward. That's all we can hope for. So, yeah, I like your thought. Balance, well done. It's a sub with the whole bell thing. Shout out to you, One New Me. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot, yo. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to end it with this. Like I said before, I do thank each and every one of you who rocked with us last night. It was great. It was wonderful. I hope I gave you the best experience I could with our first fight stream. Tomorrow I will be doing Chiefs versus Bills. It's going to be a hell of a game. I'm excited for that one. That's going to start at 4:25. So make sure that you have locked it in and make sure that you are here for that. It's going to be crazy. The main event tomorrow will be actually amazing. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure we won't be let down tomorrow. But I am going to say this. I cannot deal with being disappointed 2 days in a row, or three days in a row. I can't do it. I can't go with being disappointed 3 days in a row. So Bills, you got to pull it together. You got to go there and do this, because I cannot be disappointed. I can't feel how I felt last night. I can't do it. So please figure this thing out, because I can't have it. I can't have it three days in a row. Dave Benson says, scam Tyson. Hey, man, 20 million was on the line. 20 million was on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great Saturday. Hope you enjoy college football, all that good stuff. I'll see you all tomorrow. Chiefs, Bills, have yourself a great afternoon. Peace out.